He walked through the doors with a youthful endurance. Down the hallways, he strode with assurance. He'd come to learn everything that science could provide. I want to study and understand the entire world around me. He learned about every different kind of flea and found everyone around him living in futility and leisure. Why weren't they focused on understanding what's essential? He left as soon as he realized everyone only cared about their credential. I'm the fallen man. I'm an empty, worthless son. I'm no use at all. I never finished anything I began. I'm needed by no one. I've never found my call. He knew how, of course, that the world had to change and burn. So he found the group with the red flag appropriately stern. They spoke of overthrowing injustice and instituting a new system. He was hopeful he had found it all and joined their protests. He clashed with the police and decried their arrests. The speaker and leader said for those outside, there will be no mercy. They'll deal with the fallout damage and innocence later. And when he heard this, he ran, because he feared he'd be treated as a traitor. I'm the fallen man. I'm an empty, worthless son. I'm no use at all. I never finished anything I began. I'm needed by no one. I've never found my call. The simple kind of man, the farmer and worker is my dream. He said as he threw off all elements of class and regime. To work all day and end it with a simple drinking song is how he pictured his new life with the people would be. But this kind of idyllic life he'd imagined he did not see. Instead his senses could not dull to all their superstitions. And rather than a humble folk he saw people set in their ways, completely ready to waste every single one of their last days. I'm the fallen man. I'm an empty, worthless son. I'm no use at all. I never finished anything I began. I'm needed by no one. I've done nothing but fall. He began to think out loud, I've tried everything else. Maybe religion's the key. So he stepped inside of a church in hopes that he would be set free. The priest convinced him that the world was sinful, and that he, to which he readily agreed, needed to withdraw and pray. Not just once or twice, but in a monastery, frightened by society's decay. So he was in a society of monks living fruitlessly and frugally, in order to please God, Mary, and all the innumerable saints. He quickly found the monks were similarly unhappy with their complaints. I'm the fallen man. I'm an empty, worthless son. I'm no use at all. I never finished anything I began. I'm needed by no one. I've never found my call. His new desire was to leave peacefully and grow vegetables and fruit, even if that meant he was to live and smell like a brute. Though after all he questioned and thought maybe this is not the thing. The leader of the place started to suggest excessive sharing, and he was very wary and didn't like such pairing. His mania in mind was now only focused on escape, so much that he couldn't think as to how things can turn out so wrong. At the end of the day, week, and month, he was still looking for somewhere to belong. I'm the fallen man. I'm an empty, worthless son. I'm no use at all. I never finished anything I began. I'm needed by no one. I've done nothing but fall. He never thought he'd meet an attractive, beautiful woman. At least not with all the past he'd struggled through in this lifespan. Until he met her, or she had met him, he never thought he'd settle down. Imagine his eyes and how they lightened when he had a child, especially when it turned out that it was unstoppable and incredibly wild. And by now the agonies of her and him had all become too much. He thought of abandonment, but for him, she made the decision. When he was all alone, he could only think of the division. I'm the fallen man. I'm an empty, worthless son. I'm no use at all. I never finished anything I began. I'm needed by no one. I've never found my call. The weary man stumbles along an empty road. As he collapsed, someone else passed him, carrying an armload. It seems like you've gone through a lot of troubles, my friend. The aging man who had been through so much told his story, while his new friend brought him into his dormitory. He was on his last legs and knew this was all there was. He couldn't believe he'd spent his life chasing the herds. He bid his new friend lean in, and these were his last words. I'm the fallen man. I'm an empty, worthless son. I'm no use at all. I never finished anything I began. I'm needed by no one. I'm an empty, worthless son. Have mercy on me. I'm an empty, worthless son. Have mercy on me. I think all is well for him. I would like to be him.